Team Charles-Barclay went and did the Alton Towers 10K with pretty much a large proportion of Team Charles-Barclay actually did the run, and then we was able to explore the whole theme park afterwards. So it was actually Reese who found the event. He was looking online for different running events. Normally during the winter months we focus mainly on doing maybe some more fun type of events like swimming competitions and running events. He found the Alton Towers RunThrough 10K and he was like, we should definitely do this, but we should obviously try and get as many people involved as well. So we decided to try and get some of our friends and family running it as well. It was going to be a fun event, but the main kind of selling point was that we would get to use the theme park afterwards, and it was only open to the runners and spectators of the event. So Alton Towers is a theme park in the UK. It is based in Staffordshire. It has been there, well, for as long as I can remember. I've been going there as a kid. We've always enjoyed theme parks as a family, so for us this was a big selling point to going to do the run. And they have a huge amount of rides. They have gardens, they also have like a water park hotel. They have so much. It's kind of grown over the years, so we would definitely recommend going.
Estamos en el edificio, escalera del río, sube conmigo, último piso, vamos un día, aquí donde la mula pasa, aquí la party nunca acaba, toda la raza aquí en mi casa, mucho Alfredo, no pa' la pasta, no es una fiesta, la nota está extra, sube conmigo, último piso, la cosa va a estar tranquila.
So the run itself, they was doing a 5K, 10K and half marathon. The 5K and 10K were on the Saturday. We decided to run the 10K, and kind of leading into the race, some of our friends and family were like, oh, what do you think the course will be like? And I was like, I'm sure Alton Towers is flat, so it's just going to be a fast, flat 10K. It was the complete opposite to a fast, flat 10K. It had so many turns. It felt like you were just constantly running uphill, on a camber, all different directions. So it definitely wasn't the fastest 10K. It was definitely a challenging 10K, but it was really cool because you were actually running around the theme park amongst the rides and actually kind of getting to see the theme park with absolutely no one in it. So we definitely wasn't going to be doing a PB run on that course, but it was great to just experience running around the theme park. Obviously, I'm very competitive, so naturally I wanted to go and win the run, which I did manage to do, but it was a close battle with the lady behind me. She was chasing me down. I could hear her breathing down my neck at like 7 kilometers, and then I was like, right, I need to push on now and make sure that I actually get the win, which I did manage to do, and I think I was like 6th overall as well. And my actual finishing time, I believe, was 35:47. So definitely not a bad 10K on what was definitely a challenging course. So Reese also did the run as well. He came in narrowly in 4th place. He was just outside of the top 3, but actually I wasn't sure what the field was going to be like, and there were some amazing runners doing the event, so he didn't do badly. I think he would have liked to go a bit faster, but it wasn't bad. Reese and I thought it would be a fun idea to see how high our heart rate got during the run and then how high our heart rate would get on the ride. So I kind of anticipated my heart rate would be higher on the run, but I did expect my heart rate to get pretty close to that on the rise with the adrenaline and kind of the excitement of being on these rides. My heart rate on the run managed to get to 181 beats per minute, which is actually pretty high for me for a run. It's kind of maybe would get near that during a park run. It may go a little bit higher than that on a 5K run, but that's definitely up there with a pretty high heart rate for a 10K run. My resting heart rate is generally around 40 beats per minute, maybe a little bit lower when I'm actually sleeping, but usually when I'm like sat on the sofa at home chilling out, it's probably around 40 beats per minute. So on the rides, thinking that actually, okay, you're sat down, you're strapped in, you're not moving. It's not like you're actually doing anything physical, but I still thought my heart rate would get pretty high. In reality, the highest my heart rate actually got was 115 beats per minute, which I was like, oh, that's not very high. But then actually when you look at, okay, 40 beats per minute is resting, 115 beats per minute sat down on a ride, that is still 75 beats above resting heart rate. Okay, so breaking down some stats about the rides that we went on. Ride number 1 was Battle Galleons. It was a 6-minute long ride. It was definitely not a roller coaster. It was more of a kind of water ride where you squirt other boats, but it goes very slowly. Scary rating, definitely 0. Heart rate, 105 was the highest it went. I think my heart rate went to 105 on a 0 scary rated ride because it was actually a physical ride where you had to wind up the water gun. So I was actually doing something a bit more physical than being sat down. So ride number 2 was called 13. This was a roller coaster, scary rating of 8. And my max heart rate was 110. I gave this an 8 out of 10 for scariness because it was the first ride we've been on for a very long time, and I'd already been told a little bit about what happens on the ride, but if I hadn't have known that, it would have been way scarier, just because it's a completely different roller coaster to anything I've been on before. Okay, so ride number 3 was Hex. This ride has quite a long build up with a story behind it, and then I wouldn't really call it a roller coaster. It's more of a ride where it's like an optical illusion what is happening. Don't want to give too much away. I gave this a scary rating of 5. However, for children, it would probably be absolutely terrifying. I've gone on this a few times as a kid, so I knew what was going to happen. My max heart rate was 109 on this ride. So it still got up quite high. Ride number 4 was Oblivion. This is a very short ride, but it is definitely a roller coaster, but it's just super short. I gave this a scary rating of 9, and my max heart rate on this ride was 87, which surprised me. I don't believe that my heart rate was 87 because I actually got off of this ride and was physically shaking. Everyone else decided to go on it again, and I was like, I'm not going on that again because I've never experienced my whole body shaking. So to me, that would indicate that something was going on, like I'd either had a massive boost of adrenaline or was like in a state of shock from the ride. So I don't actually believe my heart rate was that low, unless all of that happening made my heart rate go lower, but I would definitely have expected it to be higher. Ride number 5 was the Wicker Man. This was a roller coaster. It lasted for roughly 2 minutes. I gave this a scary rating of 6. My max heart rate on this ride went to 104. This was actually one of my favourite rides of the day, but I think I was just like laughing the whole way around because it was quite rickety and shaking you about. And from being in the queue, this ride looked like it was going to be quite tame. It looked like it was going to be kind of like a family fun ride. but it was unexpectedly fast, which I think was a bit of a shock, and I was just laughing the whole way around. But definitely was up there with one of my favourite rides of the day. Ride number 6 was called Jewel. This was an indoor haunted house style ride where you actually use a laser gun to shoot in there and you score points, so it was actually like a bit of a competitive ride. This one I gave a scary rating of 2, probably would be quite scary for children because it is a haunted house. My max heart rate on this went to 92, which again I thought it might be a bit higher because we were actually doing something physical, and my arm actually physically ached at the end from getting so competitive. Our friend Cam Geeky got the highest score on this, which was over 30,000 points. So if you go to Alton Towers, that is definitely the score to beat because that was very impressive. So ride number 7 was Nemesis. This is definitely a roller coaster. You have your legs hanging down, and I gave it a scary rating of 7. This ride, my max heart rate got to 88. This was one of my favourite rides of the day, but I was quite nervous before the start. I thought I was going to hate it, but I absolutely loved it. And again, I would have expected my heart rate to be higher on this because it was quite an extreme ride. But yeah, 88 was all we got. Ride number 8 was Galactica. This ride actually used to be called Air. It is also a roller coaster ride. However, you are tilted into a horizontal position, so it's like you are flying along. On this ride, I gave it a scary rating of 7. My max heart rate got to 101, and this was definitely again up there with one of my favourite rides. I remember doing this one as a kid. In normal times, they've actually made this ride virtual reality, but due to COVID restrictions, it is not using the VR headsets. So ride number 9 was Rita. This is a roller coaster that goes from 0 to 60 miles per hour or 100 kilometers per hour in 2.5 seconds, and it puts your body through 4.7 G-force, and it literally makes your eyes water. I gave Rita a scary rating of 9 because it's just that anticipation to be shot out in the carriage that you're in. My max heart rate on this one went to 115, which I'm not surprised about because that speed really does get the heart going and the adrenaline pumping.
Today, please head on to the granny ride.
Okay, ride number 10 was Gangster Granny, which is in David Walliams' world, which is definitely the kids' part of Alton Towers, or one of the kids' parts. This is a storytelling ride for children. I gave this a scary rating of 0, and my heart rate was 64 on this ride, so it definitely didn't get the heart rate going. Okay, so the final ride of the day, ride number 11, was Pinball Whizzer. This is a roller coaster that actually spins you in the carriage as you go around the tracks. I gave this a scary rating of 7, and my max heart rate on this ride got to 111. We nearly didn't do this ride. We were just about to leave the park, and then we're like, oh, we haven't done that ride. It's probably the only big ride left that we haven't done, so we decided to go and do it. And I was just giggling the whole way around. Again, it's probably up there with one of my favourite rides just because it's so different to anything that I've been on before. Okay, hope you enjoyed this video. A little bit different to some of our usual videos, but hopefully gives you a bit of an insight into my heart rate when I'm running and when I'm not. Make sure to check out some of our previous videos if you haven't already, and I would definitely recommend booking yourself in for a trip to Alton Towers if you haven't been yet. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for loads more videos coming soon. God's sake! Oh dear.
Slowly.
It's alright. Just please stop being so clumsy. Just lay down on the bed.